Okay, so welcome to this second video. What I want to do today is talk a little bit about body language. Now when you come across your audience, it's imperative that you come across in a way that looks confident and you look competent as well. They'll perceive you as being an expert or a specialist in whatever you're talking about, and so you need to make sure that you reinforce this by using your body language. So much of our communication is non-verbal, and they say that some 7% is the words we choose, and 39% is down to our body language, is the way that we come across, our physiology. So we've got to get it right, we've got to make sure that we look the part. So what we're going to do today is work on a few different techniques to make sure we get there. Obviously, when you stand in front of people, you want to gain that authority, gain that respect from them. And you probably can remember this with people like your teachers when you were much younger. There were some teachers that could just stand in front of the class and instantly come across with a lot of confidence, and all the kids would be completely quiet straight away. Sometimes, however, you would have that teacher that would stand at the front and wouldn't really get the respect from the children and would just carry on in their same way. So what we need to do is make sure we have that authority so that people feel that they want to listen and they have to listen. That's obviously very, very powerful to have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you three things primarily. One, the way you stand. Two, the hand movements you can use. So there's two types of hand movements that we use, and I'll run you through those as well. First of all, what we're going to do is talk about the way that we stand. And the way we do this is what we call adopting the confident stance. Now when you start, chances are you're going to feel a little bit anxious, so you need to be very, very grounded. You need to feel confident in the way that you stand. So what we do is we put our feet about hip width apart, so bring them quite close together. And then what we do is I'll bring our chest up ever so slightly, not so you're a bouncer on a door of a nightclub, but just so you feel nice and relaxed and nice and comfortable. Then what we do with our hands is we grab them in front. We don't put them down by our sides. A lot of people will tell you to do that. I disagree entirely, because when you feel anxious, if they're down by your sides, you don't know what to do with them. So I'd say, well, what's the best thing to do is just grab them in front. From there, you can't do anything anxious. You instantly look the part. Okay, good. In this position now, we're in the perfect position to begin our talk. And there's two types of hand movements that I would like you to consider. Of course, please feel free to use whichever hand movements you feel comfortable with. It's just important to consider these two that I'll be teaching you now. One is what we call the placator movement. And the placator movement encourages people to feel engaged. And you do this. It's like you're holding a beach ball, holding it big enough for your crowd. So if I have a large crowd out in front of me, I'd make sure my hands are much further apart as well. And you do it, the bigger the audience, the bigger your movements. It needs to be that way. So you think about your audience and you make sure you encompass everybody as you begin to speak. You're showing your palms of your hands because it makes people feel safe, makes people feel that they can trust you as well. A great way of gaining rapport with your audience. The second movement we do is the leveler movement, and we use it like this. It's basically pushing the beach ball down now, and what you're doing there is you're telling people the truth. There's no more questions about it, it's not aggressive, it's just gaining a lot of authority and saying, look, that's the way it is, no more questions about that. And it's a really, really effective way of speaking to people. Use this movement when you want to tell people the truth. I've worked with a few people in the past, and when they have to give that soundbite, when that first thing they have to say, or one of the last things they have to say, that has to be very, very impactful, they need to use this movement, because it means that people will just take it as truth. So, you might say something like, as of last year, the crime rates in London dropped by 3%. And people will instantly take that as word. They won't discuss that at all, they'll just write that down and say, yep, that's the truth. Obviously very powerful. If you want them to open up to you, you would use this movement, which is, again, the placator movement. So think about your talk. Think about how you can incorporate these hand movements into what you're going to say, because it makes things very, very effective. And you'll always come back to this position when you need to gain that confidence. Now, of course, once you're into your talk, you're going to be walking around, you're going to be, I wouldn't say put your hands in your pockets, but you might stand in different ways. You might stand on one leg as you talk to people. You might move around a little bit. And of course that's fine. I want you to be natural. I want you to be yourself. It's just to consider these hand movements. So you can open up and you can close things down. Very, very effective hand movements. So go and practice. I'd say practice in front of the mirror as well. Now, before we move any further, what I do want to do is make sure that you can start to progress very, very quickly as well. And I want to include you within the club. I want you to come together, and I want you to maybe come on a course with me as well. So I've included a lot more information just below me, so please check it out, have a look around. If there's any questions, just give us a call, or you can email me across some information as well. But please, I look forward to speaking to you soon, and get involved. Thanks very much.